Good morning. Good morning. Happy April 27th. And wow, it's a new moon. And we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about the solar flares. And first, welcome. I'm really glad that you're here. And the topic is called why does it have to be so? Why am I feeling so bumpy? Like, what's going on? Right. So let's play with that bumpiness. And I'm going to kind of do the same thing I usually do, which is do the solar flare update and geomagnetic, because I think that's important. And I'm going to go through that rather quickly because I have some new information about our clairs and gut intelligence that I want to bring to you today. And it's pretty fabulous. I've been sitting on the edge of my seat since Thursday night when I brought all this in. Okay. Okay. So let's start first. Was that there seems to be this bizarre solar flare lull. So when we look at it, we're looking at a flat line here, right? C 1.25, and we're in the peak year, right? So then, it looks like this on the chart, right? And you're just like, well, up here, this is where the action is. This is where the real intense is, and we are way below that. And there's also, I don't know if you can see this, but there's these green lines, which is even when it goes into Bs, which is the lowest level of solar flares that we can feel, right? And the KP index is really low. So, it's a lull, and yet there are these enormous energies coming in. So I would put it like this: regardless of whether we're in a lull, we're not having these flares. We're just feeling something that's coming from the sun that is not a burst of a flare. Does that make sense? And so what it tells me is that our normal measurement devices, the things that we've used, whether it's spaceweather.com, whether it's a Schumann Resonance, whether all of these pieces where we're able to sort of watch what the sun is doing and measure it, are woefully behind. And that there's something more going on with our own energetic system that we want to look at, because there is this huge coronal hole that Stephen Burns has been talking about, that he was anticipating a lot more solar activity, but nothing's really going on. What we're doing instead is we're being hit. I love these cards. These are the Rumi cards from the Rumi oracle cards. Is that we're sort of being pulled. Our heart and our entire energy system is being pulled into something much more magnificent. Okay. And again, we are bringing information in. So Stephen Burns has been sending out videos all week. He does such a fabulous job as a geophysicist who also works with the astrology and in the spiritual world, sort of warning that there's all of this tension that's building, and this tension and tension. And part of that is the Mars Pluto opposition square the sun today. Like there's a bunch of astrological reasons for this, but there's also this tension, right? And as it comes onto our Earth, what's happening is that it's building. And so we've had, and as he said, we haven't had a really big earthquake yet, but we've had thousands of little ones. And his average is between a 5 and a 6 on the Richter, or on that magnitude scale, right? So he is saying that we are in tense planetary geometry, which I love that term, tense planetary geometry, which we are feeling, right? Now let's go to the new moon in Taurus, because Taurus is a fixed sign. It's physical. And it's where we're going to focus on grounding. We're going to focus on our embodiment. We're going to focus on who are we in this physical form, right? So we want to embody what we want to be, what really matters. We want to commit to building something, because it makes sense that we're doing that. Now, Alexander Quinn is saying a little bit of the same thing. He put out a warning, I think on Tuesday, that we've had 3 energetic updates. Not really solar flares, just energetic updates where we have had information coming into us and changing our DNA, changing our structures. He calls them high frequency energy, that they are upgrades, right? They're upgrades. So when we look at this new moon energy, we look at Saturn and Venus and the North Node all aligning at the end of Pisces, sort of doing that dance. And please, by all means, do Rewilding with Sabrina on Instagram. She does a great job talking about this Saturn, Venus, and North Node. Go watch Alexander Quinn. Keep tracking Stefan Burns. Keep following Consciously Erin, because she does a great job with the Schumann Resonance. This all gives you an idea of what's going on here on the rumbling system, right? On this, there's something really rumbling, and we don't know what it is yet. Okay, so here's where I want to introduce some new information. It's not new, it's just that I put it together. And when I put it together while I was driving, I had to laugh out loud and go like, all right, you guys, like, how long did it actually take me to get this? And they were just like so long. And I thought, okay. And when I finally did it, all the pieces fell into place. So the new piece is that when we had Neptune in Pisces, April 2011 to March 2025, 14 years of Neptune taking us down into this internal skill set that we have, into what would be a really good, into new pieces of ourselves, right? Into what we might be on the inside. And we've talked about this over the whole time that Neptune was moving, right? Yet we were being taught, we were being trained, we were being exposed to, and especially in the last 2 years, all of these sensitivities, all of these ways in which our antennas, our ability to open up, we were just being swept off our feet with empathic energy, with information, with overwhelm. And so we were learning what these skill sets are, right? So we have 3 intelligence centers. We have the head, we have the heart, and we have the gut. So go ahead and research 3 intelligences and see what you find out. And what I want to focus on today is the gut intelligence, right? Because it's sort of like our second brain, only it's much more instinctive and fast, right? So our gut intelligence covers 100 million neurons operating independently from the brain and the heart. So it's the instinctive seat of our intuitive truth. That makes sense. It's the instinctive place where truth shows up. So when our gut intelligence is activated, or when we're working with it, it means that we instinctively know how to gather information. So our gut is fast, it's primal, it's nonverbal. It doesn't talk to us, but it doesn't process words. It knows pulses and contractions and chills and tightening up and nausea and fluttering. And fill it in. What other things does your body do when you're getting information? Because our gut is our navigational compass, right? It keeps our perceptions about survival, about resonance, about truth. It puts those perspectives in line for us, right? And it's a translator. It lets us know when something is real, when something is safe, when something is urgent, and when something is sacred. So when we think about this gut intelligence, it's like our whole mind explodes, which is our gut has been ignited. So when we're really looking at what's coming through, where is she? Where's my favorite little one? I can't find. Oh, there she is. Here she is. Sorry. When we are having these kind of activations, it's our gut intelligence that's being activated. It's our gut intelligence, our sacral, between our right hip and our left hip, and our lower back, our pelvic floor. It's where our DNA is stored. It's where our remembering lies, right? So that is what is being activated by these energetic surges, so that we can start to remember. Right? Because this is what I wanted to point out. Now, you've heard me talk for years about clairs, and I've listed the clairs out in my Indigo book because they were always important to me from the 2018-19 all the way through. So I put it in my book, which I published in 2022. Our clairs, which are our clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairsentience, audience, clair aliens, clair gustant. I'll go through all those, right? They collect information and they gather through our sensory system, right? And they gather energetic and subtle information. So they're pulling things in. They are, and I like to do this, they are our antennas, right? We're out there, and the more we own them, the more they sort of go up and we start bringing in information, because our gut is the validator, it's the conductor, it's the gatekeeper, it's the truth checker, it's your home base, right? Because it's based on sensation, not logic. We can then apply that into logic. Like, I wonder what that means, or where is some research that tells me that this is, or what are some steps I could take? That all makes sense. But we don't start with logic and then go down. We start in our gut and we go up, right? Does that make sense? So this gut intelligence is so big and so profound and so huge. And our gut feeds, our clairs feed our gut. So our clairs are gathering, and then they lock into our gut. And this is how we navigate. So our nervous system, our observer, think about the things that have been affected with these solar flares, headaches, sound, our digestion, the ability to have any kind of energetic ease is all activated right now, because these sensations, these clairs of ours, these intuitive, instinctive components of our gut intelligence are being activated. I love this. Okay. So our gut is the conductor. I like this one. Our clairs are all the instruments, right? And our body moves in symphony with the world that we live in, how we embody on this earth. So it means that these pieces of taking intangible information through our clairs have been dismissed as, yeah, well, I can do that, as opposed to, that's one of my greatest powers, is my ability to read the environment, my ability to understand the sensations. So I've got 6 tips for you. And before I go to the tips, what I want to do is 2 things. I want to invite you to join the Patreon, because there's I keep posting these articles and videos and everything in that Patreon place, so that you can access it with your membership. Okay. Number 2 is, it dawned on me that what I'm doing the most of at this time is metaphysical mentoring, right? Creating a container for you to explore all of this, and a container for you to remember who you are, and to come up with some strategies for how to do that. So if I can be of service to you on that, you just let me know. Drop me a message. There's all the contact information down there in the description. Okay, so tip number 1. I want you to list out all of your clairs. Clairvoyance is the ability to see. Clairsentient is the ability to feel, right? Let's see, what else? I will skip them if I don't look at my notes. Clairaudience is the ability to hear. Claircognizance is the ability to know. I don't know how I got that information. It just dropped in, right? And then we have clairalience, which is the ability to smell. And we have clairgustant, which is the ability to taste. And these, the ability to taste and smell, these are non-physical. These aren't something that you actually smell. These are memories that come in where you can gather a smell and then go to something, or in the physical, you can smell something and it'll drop you right into information that you're remembering. Okay. So these are all extra sensory, they call them ESP, right? All these extra sensory skills that you're supposed to get to know. And what I'm really going to say is, these are our natural perceptive systems that we already have, and they're awakening, right? So get to know them, list them out, practice them, figure out which one's talking to you at what time, and even journal or track or draw or keep track of this. So number 1, get to know your clairs. Number 2, start to play with how you gather information. How? Right now, when you're hearing ringing in your ears, and we're attributing it to, of course, some of this massive solar energy, right? We're also, hearing vibrations. We're hearing pulses. We're hearing intensities of frequencies, right? So we want to find out, what is it that I'm actually gathering? And then, if it's joint pain. My joints are sore at odd times of the day. It tells me that the energy's up and my body's talking to me. If your digestion is changing, if you eat something that you've always eaten and it doesn't like it anymore, you're like, oh my gosh, I must be upgrading or changing into something, and I have to start to pay attention on a different level. Because what we want to do is we want to find out if you're being pinged, ping, like pop, trying to get your attention. What is it? And how is it talking to you? So what we want to do is play with, what is it I'm hearing, feeling, tasting, knowing, trusting? So the clairs, and now we're associating it to how it's pinging you. That makes sense to me. It just pinged me. It's giving me information. Number 3, develop a system of presence. Now, presence is the ability to be completely in your body, to be completely at ease with your breathing, and to have your observer open up and then to respond to anything that is around you. So what you want to do is you want to create a system for how you hold presence, because that's how you catch these pings. If you're talking, if you've had 2 to 3 glasses of wine and you're in a really loud bar or music, there's no way you can hear or feel the pings. It has to take a lot to get through. So what we want to do is we want to create a presence so we can catch the pings. Does that make sense? Presence to acknowledge them, presence to address what it is that you just heard, what you need to know right now, what you have, this information, and embodying the information like, oh, that means I need more water. I need more rest. I need to remove myself from this. I need to take some digestives because my stomach is not happy with what I just put in it, and lesson learned, right? So we're developing presence so that we can catch the pings. So the first is to know your clairs. The second is to identify how the clairs talk to you. And the third is to create a presence in your body so that when the pings come in, you can hear them, right? So 4, once you hear the pings, you begin this process of a partnership, or a game we used to play in my swimming pool growing up, Marco Polo. You hide Marco and you wait, and they have to say polo. And then you swim towards them and you try to tag them. So it's just race with your eyes closed to try to just listen to the sounds, right? So you're playing Marco Polo with all of these. You get a ping, and your partnership with that is like, what just happened? What's resonating? What's warning? What's exciting me? What's contracting me? What's flowing? How do I determine what's mine? Did I just feel that? Or am I feeling something coming from somebody else? And then it's kind of like, oh, I have to learn how to not just read other people. I have to stay in my own boundaries. So it's empathic boundaries, right? This is just all dumping into me so fast over the last 3 days. It sort of wove everything together that we've been working on for years, the last 2 years here in these videos. Okay, so if we have clairvoyance, right, which is how we receive images and visions, and then we're like, wow, when I acknowledge that I'm being pinned, then I can start to acknowledge that those visions, those images, those distractions that used to spin around in my head all the time, they actually have a meaning. When we have clairaudience, what we're doing is we're receiving tones, and we're feeling into the messages and the words and the energies, and when words feel false and when words feel true, because this is where your truth barometer really starts to work. And watching almost everything on mainstream media or even second and third level media platforms, I'm realizing that my detector will go off and say, those words, there's something off about those, right? Our clairsentience is where we feel in the emotional, right? It's where we receive information in the emotional energetic fields. Our cognizance is when we get downloads, when we get knowings, when we get insights, right? Our clairalience and gustant is where we are using actual physical faculties of ours, and they're keying us into something else, taste and smell, right? Number 5, So this is where we embody and we ground. So we take these clairs that we identify, and we learn how they give us information, and we create a system to understand the pings. And then we start to play with, did I just hear that? Give it to me again. And so what we're doing is we're partnering constantly on point number 4. And then point number 5 is where we fully embody and we ground, which is, I have all the information I need to navigate right now, and I know where I'm going and what to do in body. So when we're talking about, hey, this is all about embodiment, it takes a minute to sort of move through those systems to go, what does it mean to be fully embodied? And what would I know, right? Number 6, to close this off, is to have compassion, because we're all developing our sensitivities, our clairs at different times. Our antennas are starting to wake up, right? We are all in different phases of bumpy water, trying to find out what to do when the energy moves us, and the waves or the energetic vibrations, and how do we stay present and read this. Now, we're all different. I think of Harry Potter and Harry and Ron and Hermione, all in the first year of school, trying to figure out what to do with their wand, the mistakes they made, and then learning how to partner with it, and who was confident in what areas and what arenas, right? So we have this learning that we're doing on how to intuitively feel the frequency of truth, right, in our body, and knowing, absolutely knowing that we trust it, because we felt it, we navigated it, we understand it, and then we are sovereign and rock solid. Isn't that cool? I thought you would love this. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and tell me what it felt like. And hopefully, if you catch this tonight or tomorrow, enjoy this new moon energy. And I will see you next week, or I'll see you in my Patreon site. You take care. Bye-bye.